It's time for the SVU After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. We are talking season 20, episode 4, Revenge. We're going to discuss the Staceys, the Chads, the Staceys and the Chads. That's right. That's this week's drinking game. So drink up. Let's do it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome to the SVU After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm Yael Tygiel. I am so excited to be here. I realize I gave you a drinking game. I have no drinks, so Chad, Stacy, that's all on you. You're drinking now. Taylor's drinking.
Bottoms up, yes,
Welcome.
indeed. Hey, what's up?
Again, this is SVU 24, Revenge. How have we not had an episode called Revenge yet?
That's exactly what I was thinking when we started this. I was like, there had to have been, especially because they had like so many one-word titles for like 15 of the years.
Yes. I don't understand how we're in season 20 with a one-word title. We have someone who may or may not be on the show with us. I'm just going to warn everybody, if you hear noises.
Surprise guest.
Yes. You've been warned.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So Macy Gates may or may not be here. That's what I'm going to go with.
Perfect.
Speaking of warnings, before we jump into our show, of course, we're going to give everyone the RAIN hotline, the National Sexual Assault Hotline. That is 1-800-656-4673. If you were assaulted or need someone to talk to, please give them a call, 1-800-656-4673. Also, speaking of warnings, we're going to make some bad jokes. This episode's about incels. I'm going to say some terrible stuff.
But there were no children, so yeah. It can't be that bad.
It was a great episode. Wonderful. So please consider this your content warning, that if you were assaulted and whatever we may say may not be appropriate, this show might not be for you.
Yes.
And call the hotline. Great. What did you think of this episode generally?
This is a very solid episode. I think this was my favorite of the season so far. There's been 4.
The first 2 were a 2-parter.
But they were separate episodes, according to NBC. Man Up and Man Down.
Yeah.
And I liked it. It felt kind of old school SVU because there wasn't a whole lot of like personal drama, which I can like in certain capacities, but I just liked focusing on the case this time.
I agree. I like there was no baby Noah and no Rollins baby drama, but I have predictions on that and we'll get to it. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that it was a coherent case. Yeah. The one thing that like kind of surprised me back in the old days of SVU when there was a subculture, I guess would be the term. And someone was like, in incel, this means this.
Yeah,
somebody would go, what's that?
Yeah, they didn't have that really, which was a little surprising because I knew what it was just because I had like read articles about it and stuff. But I'm sure for some casual viewers, they were like, what are you talking about?
Well, what's interesting is Finn like defined it at one point. He's like, yes, the involuntary celibates, blah, 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 blah. I was like, wait, that's it? That's what we're getting? It
was a very quick, like almost throwaway line though.
Yeah, and it kind of felt odd for SVU to not have a person to go, I agree. What's that mean?
Yeah.
That said, after 20 seasons, it's not surprising that
except for Olivia knows what a finsta is now, according to last season, so like maybe we don't need to play catch up anymore.
Maybe they're more aware.
Maybe.
They're reading the Reddits. All right, so we start with our first victim, because we got a whole lot of victims. Ann Whitman and her boyfriend. Are they watching a slasher movie or clown porn?
Maybe both.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's a mixture.
I am going with clown porn.
Yeah, I like it. Because we were very, very jarred. Like, we were like, what is happening?
Well, because at first, maybe it was because we kept looking down to our notes. I don't know. It just, at one point I went, I don't know if we're watching the clown porn or if we're watching people watch clown porn.
Yeah, I don't know. But I did appreciate the fact that we had a little shout out to Send in the Clowns, my favorite episode of season 19.
That's true. I also will say, just to clarify, the more I say clown porn, that at no point am I judging, and that people, you do you. I support whatever you're into.
You. If it's not violent, you know what?
As long as there's consent, do what you want.
Go for it.
Clowns. All right, so the pizza guy shows up. Who's am I thinking of Daft Punk? Is that what it is with the helmets?
Yes, there's some musician that does the
I think
bike
it's Daft
helmets.
Punk, is it? You're young.
You're 19.
You know. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Great. I really can't believe no one made a Daft Punk joke.
Right? I feel like Carisi at least
Right.
could have, you know.
Or like I thought when he opened it and he looked at when boyfriend, not Chad, looked at the guy after looking at the pizza, I thought he was going to be like,
They were up all night, but they didn't get lucky.
I definitely just thought, are you Daft Punk? Like,
Hire me.
what. Shut up. All right, so the zip ties were in the pizza box, and the pizza guy raped Stacy, whose real name was Anne, and the boyfriend, who they called Chad. Did they hit the wrong apartment? So then we go and bother real Chad and his wife, Brianna. So she clearly knew something.
We got to back up a bit.
Yes.
Because
always.
I really enjoyed I always back you up.
You like it when I back up?
Yes, I do. I really like when we talked to the doorman who just had to pee, but he also didn't know that well, he knew there was a Chad. He's like, well, you didn't say Chad and Stacy, but they're like, you are literally 0 for 2, Keyshawn.
No, what he said was, because they said a Chad and Stacy, and he was like, there is no Chad and Stacy. And then they saw the name Chad, and he was like, yeah, because Chad's wife is Brianna.
Yeah. But like poor Keyshawn he just had to
needs
pee.
to pee.
Like this poor guy.
His poor bladder.
His poor bladder.
That said, like I'm sure there's a plant in that foyer he could have, he's a dude.
Dehumanizing.
Dudes can pee wherever.
It's a lobby of he would get fired.
I'm sorry, if I were a dude, I would pee everywhere.
That's fair, I guess.
I would never wait for a restroom again.
So if you were a dog, you mean?
Yes. Is that not what I said? Okay.
That's a dun-dun right there.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. In this episode, I'm going to be terrible to men. Chad, they're talking to Chad and Brianna. Brianna obviously knows something.
But Chad is a dentist and everyone hates him. We have to establish that.
Yes. Brianna knows something. Am I the only one who thought that she was doing some girl named Stacy?
Doing some girl?
I thought it was going to be that the reason an incel was coming after her was because she was doing some girl named Stacy. Because before, at this point, we knew what Chad and Stacy meant. So I thought she had a girlfriend named Stacy, and that's why the incel got rejected, was because she was into women and now she's with a dude.
I didn't know. I thought that maybe like she had an affair and like used the name Stacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that also would have been fun. I just wanted someone doing someone named Stacy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Stacy's mom has got it going on.
Yeah, I know. I also was bummed that there was no Stacy's mom joke.
And me too.
I feel bad for everyone named Stacy.
Yeah.
And their mom. All right, so Brianna had an affair with some dude named Jake. That's literally what my note says. Jake has a gun. So funny that whole scene where they're like, why would you have a gun? You're an aerobics instructor. What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. Like I don't know, man.
So he's held for questioning, and there's another rape, and there at no point does Olivia knock on the window.
I know, that's what I said. I'm like, you have to stop this interrogation.
Nah, let it go.
It's fine. Let's just keep it up.
Yeah. Maybe he did something else. Maybe. He ran.
He did run.
I really thought it was going to be weed in his bag.
Oh, like every other like fake place. Yeah.
They run because they have weed, always.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he just wanted to ride his bike, man.
With his gun. Which he legally has.
Yeah. At least Olivia didn't knock this guy off his bike.
Oh,
one of my favorite
too
scenes.
Soon.
Listen, that was such a funny scene.
She doesn't chase people anymore. She gets winded.
Yeah.
Okay,
the whole storyline.
Our second rape victim is Beth. The guy had disgusting rubber gloves. Why? That's a very specific detail. What made them disgusking? Yeah. Were they used? Were they dirty? Like, what kind of gloves were they?
Yeah.
I have questions.
Someone should have asked for clarification on the gloves.
They were disgusting rubber gloves.
Disgusting.
He was 5'6"ish. And he screamed at me like he hated me. Also called her Stacy.
Yes.
So then we learned what Stacy's and Chad's are.
Yep.
All right. So Stacy is a woman who won't have sex with an incel, and we will discuss incels in detail. And Chad's are the guys who get the Staceys.
Those names are very like stereotypical. Like they make sense why you would call them Chad and Stacy.
Oh, I totally get the Chad. I don't know about the Stacy.
Stacy to me is like a preppy blonde girl for some reason.
I feel like the name for, like, okay, let me explain myself. So Buffy, for example, was named Buffy because it's the, like, I'm a cheerleader, I'm Buffy type of thing. And so I feel like a Brittany or a Buffy would have been.
and Buffy.
I mean, I think Buffy now evokes too much Vampire Slayer, but but I would say like a Brittany or a Brittany. I don't know. No offense to the Britneys watching.
Brittany.
That's where my head's at.
Barbie. Chad and Barbie.
Yeah.
But then it's Barbie and Ken.
Could have been Barbie and Ken.
Yeah.
Ken would have worked.
Ken would have worked.
But Chad's could have been Chaz.
Chad's so frat boy.
Chaz.
Chaz with a Z.
Yeah.
That's worse.
I know.
Yeah. Great.
Now I'm thinking of all these terrible frat boy names. Chad really is perfect, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's the Stacy that we have issues with.
I don't have issues.
We have issues with.
You have an issue.
We all. The whole room. Macy also has issues. I'm speaking for her. Thank you. All right. So we find out from our second victim, Beth, about the Tudor mansion.
Which you want to go to really badly.
Okay, so apparently there are these sex clubs that are specifically for millennials, and that the guy, the like douchey, waspy club owner, I tried to write pimp and it came out as something else. All right, he's kind of a pimp. He vets all the people and he keeps track of everyone who applies, and this sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna make that list, but still. The idea that is this real?
I'm sure it does, especially in LA. There has to be a Tudor mansion. There are dating apps that like vet you and stuff.
Yeah, but that's not the same.
I bet there's something like this.
This is a specific app for people that some douchey guy thinks that you're better than everyone and get to mate with other.
Have you been to LA?
Do I live here? I don't know.
This is very much a thing. I just know it. I feel it in my heart.
That it's real?
Yes.
Somebody find me the LA one, please, so I can sign up.
Text the address. Thank you.
Just send me the link, please. All right. So we find out that there was a creepy guy who wouldn't be let in. He's like, Riley's cool because he talked about himself in third person.
Disgusting.
Girl, that's why you didn't get in.
Canceled.
That's why you're not getting in. Girl.
Terrible.
And he had curly red hair. That's where I thought we were tying this clown thing back in.
Yeah.
You
picked the breadcrumb up. I do this every episode mistakenly, but you did it this time. You just force things way too much. That was yikes. But anyway, let's keep going.
All right, so we find out that his name is Riley Porter. He applied 5 times. We call in Riley Porter and we get perhaps one of the greatest, ridiculousest speeches ever.
Yep.
So Riley tells us that there is no such thing as rape because it's in the Constitution. Macy, would you like to tell us what he said?
Yes.
Okay.
So he said all men are created equal and they all have the right to life, liberty, and happiness. And since they deserve happiness, that basically equals sex. So men get sex whenever, according to the Constitution.
Wow. It is
Thank you for that explanation.
Right.
Killed it.
That's great. It was a fundamental
right.
So funny. What's terrible is that like this is a thing that these people believe.
Yes.
Like legit people who believe this.
Yes.
But that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, you're reaching.
Because all men are created equal.
Okay.
We then have a third victim. Her name is Carol. And she's got a fiance named John. John's dad thinks that his son is doing so well, he must have pissed people off.
Everybody loves John.
But he also was like, of course he pissed people off. He's doing really great.
Yeah, John's dad really didn't end up meaning anything, and I thought he would.
John's dad felt very much like the leader of the incels.
Yes.
Right? Like he felt like when he was younger, he was like, no, women owe me sex.
Yes.
I am clearly the guy. He's a Chad, but who believes the same things that the incels believe.
Whoa, that's dangerous.
Right?
Yeah.
He probably went to Hudson. That's my thought.
He absolutely went to Hudson.
And like was part of Tau Omega fraternity.
Probably.
It's a real good cut there, everybody.
You killed it.
Yeah. Anyone who's a SVU fan like we are knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Thanks. So we find out from Carol that the guy who raped her said that his friend would have really enjoyed it, that O'Reilly would have thought she was so pretty, but that this guy was 5'9"-ish and skinny. So we discovered that they're trading rapes.
Also, R.I.P. John.
Oh, yeah, John dies.
Bye.
Whatever, who cares?
I just thought it maybe was like kind of important.
A Chad died.
A Chad died.
Did we need another one in this world? I don't know. Sorry. Again, we say terrible things on this show. You have been warned. Thank you. So where were we? They're trading rapes. So none of these people have connections to the victims in theory, so they can alibi each other. And through this, we essentially have a strangers on a train kind of mentality. That said, I don't know that the internet chat rooms allow for strangers on a train. That makes you not strangers. You're now internet friends.
Yeah.
And if it's on the internet, it lives forever.
And may we just talk about their usernames?
Yes, please. Tell me who we have.
Phallus Power.
Who's Phallus Power?
That is
Riley.
Riley, sorry. Hateful One is Chris. Mm-hmm. I think it's Hateful
One.
-1.
Yeah.
Of course. And Iron Cross X, which is Tony, we find out.
I'll tell you this. Riley's the only one who had the name.
Like a great name. Like Hateful One, weak.
Yeah.
Iron Cross X sounds like some video game or something.
It sounds like he's like I like heavy metal.
And Jesus.
Yeah, what's weird is Iron Cross X, Tony was the lit major.
Yeah.
His name should have been
Great Gatsby 1.
Right. His name should have totally been some sort of
greatest Gatsby.
Nice.
Thank you.
Gatsby the Great.
Gatsby the Great. Wow, we should just spend the rest of the show just thinking of literary names.
People should tweet those at us.
Please, I'm begging you.
Leave them in the comments.
Whatever. I want to hear them.
But because his really should have been literary.
It should have.
Like Romeo.
Yeah.
I mean, not that romantic, but whatevs.
I agree. It should have been better than Iron Cross X.
Yeah, it felt like the writers were like, oh, one of these guys is going to be Phallus Power. And they were like, yeah, that's great. Okay, what are the next one?
Something with hateful one?
Yeah, that works. Oh, there's a third one. And
Iron just like there's like spinning a wheel. Iron Cross.
Yeah, perfect.
Great.
All right, so these boys are going to get what they're owed.
Yep.
Jail
so
time. Let's talk real quick about Chris's lawyer.
No, let's talk a little bit about how Chris lives in Riverdale.
Yes, so Chris lives in Riverdale, everyone. He's best friends with Archie. And let's be honest, Veronica is very much a Stacy.
Yes.
Archie's a Chad.
Is Jughead an incel?
No.
I'm just kidding.
How
the Bughead shippers are gonna come at me. I didn't insult Cole Sprouse. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, obviously not. I would say, tall boy, not tall boy, Sweet Pea. Maybe. Sweet Pea.
Is Betty a Stacy?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah.
Wow, we should just categorize
That's a fun
Riverdale
get.
characters. This is great. Love it.
Anyway,
where's my crossover?
Okay, so let's talk about Chris's lawyer, who I'm sure is also from Riverdale. David Arnold.
So random and so good.
It was the most unnecessary bit ever.
But I loved it. Please do more.
It was great. It was so great. When Stone is like, oh, David, do what, Arnold? And Benson's like,
what?
I mean, you'll see. You want to do what?
I thought that was so good. More of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. It felt very old school SVU.
It
did. That joke.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a dumb, easy joke. They loved it.
That didn't take away from anything.
Exactly.
Didn't take too long.
It was great.
So good. So then we're going after the boys with RICO laws. For those who are not sure of what RICO stands for, it is racketeering, influenced, and corrupt organizations. It's really how you take down organized crime, mafiosos, things like that. Then we get this really unnecessary, you guys know how much I love law. This part was dumb and I did not care for it. So, because we didn't go in this direction and talk about the law.
Privacy law,
We just did it in the middle of the episode. So the cell phone GPS records you can't get without a warrant. That's a new federal law. But the phone company gave it to the cops without them asking for it, because they asked for something else. And so the phone company just also gave them the GPS records. And so the case against Tony gets dismissed because they didn't have the right to get his location.
But, like, they didn't ask for it.
They didn't ask for it. And I understand it. And I understand that was the law. I don't understand why this was in the episode. Like, it could have been a quick, because it wasn't fast enough for it to be just the case is now thrown out.
Right.
Because we had Stone yelling at our detectives about how he sent them the memo and they should know that the law changed, which, fair point, they should know. And then we go into him arguing about it. And then the lawyer or the judge, explaining why he's not going to bother doing this and whatever. It just felt too much to be involved in this episode. Right. We had so many other things happening.
Yeah. We could have got more of John's dad.
We could have also gotten more of David Duet Arnold.
That's very true. Just come on. Come on, guys.
All right. So we go to Tony's mom, who... It surprised me that Benson took a bit to realize that the mom is probably part of this. You know what I mean? Yeah. That feels like, remember the episode with Chad Lowe? And then there are like tons of old school episodes where Benson's like, what did your mom do to you?
Yeah.
Your mom must have done something.
We were even going to, like, for the poll, which we'll announce later, we're going to do, like, favorite crazy mom or whatever. We did that, like, 2 weeks ago because it's always something to do with the crazy mom.
Yeah. So the fact that they were like, it must be his mom. Let's talk to her. How did we not get there? All right. So Carol is the only thing that Tony would talk about. And Tony's mom seems to think they went to prom together because he thinks he asked her and then lied to his mom and said that he went.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
So Tony, Benson realizes that the other two did each other favors, but that Tony raped the woman that insulted him, I guess.
Which is why he didn't call her Stacy.
Right. So we have this really great scene. I love when they bring the victim
outbursts.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. So they bring Carol in, and I don't know if I really wanted it to be that, like, she did recognize him, and they were like, pretend that you know nothing.
Right.
But nope, she is like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So Tony knows everything. He knows her favorite Chinese place and where she lived and all of these details. And he called and left a voicemail asking her to prom. And then they're like, so you raped her? She didn't respond. And he's like, I took what was mine.
But here's the twist.
Give us the twist.
It wasn't her cell phone number. he killed her fiance.
And raped her.
And it wasn't even her number. Like, she could not have gone to prom with him because she didn't even know he asked. Wow.
I wonder if that was supposed to be, like, incels are so, like, their thought process and reasoning for why they are owed this is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That here's a ridiculous example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a mirror of that. Because that's the stupid, like, that's not a reason. Not that there's a reason to rape somebody, but, like, that definitely
motive?
isn't.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Good episode, though.
Yes. Before we go on to incels and all of that, Taylor.
Yes.
Why don't you thank everybody for joining us?
I will. You guys, thank you for joining us.
There you go.
And
that's what I asked for.
So, like, there's lots of other shows besides just SVU. I mean, obviously SVU is like
the greatest show of all time.
But our network actually produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that is tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they are completely optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let you know you did so in the comments, and we will be super grateful for you guys. For now, thank you for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV Talk.
Thank you.
Of course.
And thank you to everyone who's in our chat right now. That's right. We have people live chatting with us. Trisha is there. Peacock's Tail is there. Amanda is there. Kennedy is there. Thank you all so much for joining us live in the chat. We hope to, in the future, acknowledge you more.
Yes.
That is a hope of mine.
Fingers crossed.
To go back to the way we used to acknowledge you all the time, because we love having you there.
We do.
So again, in the comments, what did we ask for? We asked for screen names.
Yes.
I'd also love it if you take a show, any TV show, and start deciding who's a Stacy and who's a Chad.
Would love that.
So funny. That's great.
That's your homework for this week.
That's what we'd like in the comments. All right. Thank you. Okay. Incels.
Tell me all about it.
So the thing about this episode that angered me the most, this is a weird thing to be angry about, is in the SVU universe, they had the episode of Holden's Manifesto, which was the Isla Vista murders here in California. And in the real world, when the accident in Toronto happened, where the driver drove into a bunch of women and ran them off the sidewalk recently, it was said that he was an incel and a fan of the real Holden, whose name was Elliot Rodger. So when this episode was going to be planned, and Carisi drops it's like the guy in Toronto, I thought we would get a connection. I thought they'd be like, oh, they all read Holden's Manifesto. They watched Holden's videos. Some sort of connection to that episode. And that really, really annoyed me that they didn't. Because I think it's a missed opportunity to show that this isn't a thing that just popped up today.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Mm-hmm. Especially because it was only a couple seasons ago. Like, I feel like people would be like, oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, it was. I remember doing the after show for that one.
Right, it was like season 16 or something.
Season 16, episode 4, I believe. And I remember I thought it was too soon because it had just happened. Mm-hmm. So for those who have been lost on this incel thing, I have some information for you. So incels are members of an online subculture who define themselves as unable to find romantic and sexual partners despite desiring one, a state they call the inceldom, which is dumb in itself.
Dumb.
Yeah. Self-identified incels are mostly white, male, and heterosexual.
What?
The most surprising fact I've heard all day.
Wow.
So a lot of these forums online discuss resentment and self-pity, self-loathing, misogyny, racism, a sense of entitlement to sex, and the endorsement of violence against sexually active people. So let me tell you a little bit about this crazy history of the word incel, because this part is new to me.
Oh, I'm ready.
So the first online community to use the term incel was 1993.
Wow.
A Canadian college student whose name was Alana started a website to discuss her sexual inactivity. The website was titled Alana's Involuntary Celibacy Project and was used by people of all genders to share their thoughts and experiences. So in 97, she started a mailing list about this, and it was trimmed down to incel. So it was, which was defined as anybody of any gender who was lonely, had never had sex, or hadn't had a relationship in a long time. So later, she realized that she was queer, and she became more comfortable with her identity. She gave the site to a stranger. In 2018, when she talked about it, she said it definitely wasn't a bunch of guys blaming women for their problems. That's a pretty sad version of this phenomenon that's happening today. Things have changed in the last 20 years. So she's aware that this is not the same thing. So a message board called loveshy.com was founded in 2003, where people who are perpetually rejected and extremely shy of potential partners could discuss their situations. And then we have Reddit. Oh, Reddit.
Oh, Reddit.
So there's an incel subreddit that is known as a place where men blame women for their involuntary celibacy, sometimes advocate for rape and other violence, and are misogynistic and often racist. Not surprising.
Wow.
So she also spoke. When Alana read about the 2014 Isla Vista killings, which again is Elliot Rodger who inspired Holden's Manifesto in season 16, and that it was part of the incel subculture and was glorified by Elliot Rodger. She wrote, like a scientist who invented something that ended up being a weapon of war, I can't uninvent this word, nor restrict it to nicer people who need it. She expressed regret to the change and usage from her original intent to be an inclusive community for men and women. And she started a new project called Love Not Anger, which she describes as a project to research how lonely people might find respectful love instead of being sucked into anger.
Wow. I didn't know that either. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's sad that her thing got turned into something terrible.
Yeah, because it like seemed like a really good purpose.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about incel subculture, I guess, recently, and this whole idea of men being owed sex, and that I think
it is in the Constitution, Yael.
My bad. That they are created equally and therefore can pursue happiness. I think it's very interesting. I think it's this real toxic thing in the world that, you know, people believe they are owed something. What do you think about it?
No.
Tell me some things.
No one is like owed anything except like basic respect. You know what I mean? And like especially at the expense of other people. Like consent. You gotta have it always.
I think the thing that bothers me or like angers me the most about it, right? There was some article that was going around. I want to say you shared it with me, but it could have been anybody, about the like number system. So there's this weird decision that incels made that they proposed or something. And it was that everyone is given a number 1 to 10, the way you'd rate someone on their attractiveness. And the idea, according to the incels, were that women can't date men who are a number above them. They can only date equal or below. So if you're a 7, let's say, you can only date 7s or below. You can't date an 8 or a 9 or a 10. And the thing that this is going to sound terrible, but I'm going to say it because I can't think of a nicer way to say this. The thing about the incels is, especially like this episode or other episodes where we've seen, or people like this, it's always guys who are not attractive, are not nice, are not offering things.
Yeah.
They're terrible people. And they're always like, why does this supermodel who's very friendly and has a lot of people in their life that love her, why won't she sleep with me? And all I can think is, and this is going to sound terrible, but like, look around your people.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people that will. Everybody has, you know what I mean? Like there's somebody for everybody.
Something that's compatible.
But like you're mad because you can't have something, but who's to say she wants you?
Exactly. And it's like, I think that another part of that number system was like every time a girl sleeps with a guy, her number goes down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thought is, right, that the women would eventually get down to 1s.
Right.
Let's say they started at a 5, they had sex with 4 people. They're now 1. And you as an 2, right? You aren't going to sleep with a 1. You think you should be with a 10.
Oh, yeah.
So why aren't you looking at you're not looking?
It's ridiculous.
The idea is, I'm a 1 and I deserve a 10. Not that I think people should be judged on appearance. I'm just trying to explain a point.
Yeah.
But like, that's the mentality is, there's a 1 next to you who I think is compatible, but you're angry that a 10 won't sleep with you.
Yes.
Why not look at other people?
Because they don't have logic. There's no logic to any of it.
Did that make sense, or am I just being a jerk?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. Again, let's not judge people 1 to 10.
We're just trying to get in their headspace.
I don't get it.
Which is scary. A place to be. I don't want to be there anymore.
I don't get it.
Why? No one gets it unless you're them.
I also wish in this episode, there was a very small moment where Finn was like, why don't they go to sex workers? And Creasy was like, they're part of the problem. And I was like, go into that more. Explain more this whole, like, because they were like, they're incels. Everyone else is a Stacy or a Chad. And I was like, why aren't we having someone go, what does that mean? And explain it to the audience.
I agree.
So that our after show doesn't have to do all the explaining.
Come on, guys.
I can't do all the work.
We can't do everything for you.
Okay. Before we get into predictions, we are going to have a poll as we do every week.
Yes, we are.
What is this week's poll?
Guys, it's your favorite, like, revenge episode. So there's obviously this one that is aptly titled Revenge.
I'm so surprised.
What? And then Holden's Manifesto, which we've been kind of referencing, which is Rollins going, "You're one of the good guys."
You're one of the good guys.
Great episode. Theater Tricks, which we both love. You know that already, where the roommate or her friend.
It's the roommate.
The roommate.
They're both
sets up
actresses.
things.
Yeah.
And then Home Invasions, which is Jake T. Austin and the little girl who like spray paints her own house and like.
So her mom, I was like, you're not giving any information about it.
That's Jake T. Austin. IMDb him, okay?
It also has Isai Morales. Anyway. And the girl from Orange is the New Black, I think. Anyway.
Probably.
That's the one where the guy comes in the door and shoots both the parents, then accidentally shoots the girl, and the girl doesn't die. But she and her boyfriend, Jake D. Austin, are not having sex, but she has herpes? Yes, she has herpes. Yeah. And she got it because her daddy was raping her. And that's why
her
she
mom
asked,
didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, and that's why she asked the cleaning lady's brother.
No. Yes. I was like, I know they knew each other.
It's the cleaning lady's brother who was
family.
in jail who got out to come and do it.
That's a great episode. It's an underrated episode.
I agree.
Yes.
Are those
Those are the four. And
Cool.
comment if it's a different one.
Yeah. We'll tell you where to find that in just a minute. Let's head into predictions.
Do that.
And now,
Look, there's flashing
your
lights.
AfterBuzz TV.
I know this is your first after show. So exciting. All right. So last week we were so excited about next week's episode because we thought it was this week.
It's Nexium.
Yep.
I already predicted everything last week pretty much, but essentially it's like the cult that they said was going to be some women's empowerment group that ended up being this like crazy sex cult where they branded them and stuff. It's
And I
insane.
think they like trafficked them and sold them.
It's crazy. Girl from Smallville was in it. Allison Mack.
Yeah, she was recruiting people.
Yeah, she was one of like the higher ups.
Yes.
It's crazy. You should research it.
Okay. In other prediction news, this is so exciting. Somebody sent this to me on Twitter. I'm trying to find it real quick because I took a picture. Okay. So I'm going to say OG Amber at Oh No, It's a Trap.
Cool.
Nice. Sent me the greatest thing ever.
I'm ready.
About Rollins.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So
okay.
The prediction is that maybe Rollins' baby situation will be ripped from this headline. It is the story essentially about this doctor who was dating two women and one of them got pregnant. And so instead of dealing with that, he murdered her. So
okay.
If we do rip from this headline, thank you to Oh No, It's a Trap for sending this to me. Then I don't foresee him murdering Rollins. But if we do steal this,
murder, maybe he has both of his side chicks pregnant and murders a different, because we thought he's a little sketch.
Oh yeah, he probably does have another side chick.
Oh, for sure.
But
He has multiple side chicks.
Last episode, he was like advocating abortion.
Yes.
He was like, I'm going to pay for you to take care of it.
He's like, I never said I wanted that.
So I would love it, because he is a doctor, if he induces an abortion.
With, what is it, the
love potion number 9?
We're on the same wavelength
that
right now.
episode was on yesterday with Chuck Mills.
Chuck Mills
is the character. That's when Sonia Paxton comes back.
Amazing.
That episode was so good. Chuck Mills is a murderer. All right. So I don't know if it'll happen, but I like that idea. I'm a terrible person.
Bring back Chuck Mills. Or don't bother.
No, I just like the idea. Because if they do that and then do not mention that they had a case that used the same medication, I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who would know, because it was a Stabler case.
Olivia
would know.
It's like the last one standing. Finn
might know.
That's it.
I don't know if he was there.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever. All right, those are our predictions.
It's so good.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Macy, for being here.
Thanks so much.
And thanks for telling us about the Constitution.
Yes. Learned a lot of political science tonight.
Yeah, we did. Taylor, where can everyone keep up with you and the poll?
Yes, you guys can find me on Twitter at alphaba_Ann, on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_. I also host The Good Place every Thursday at 6.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. For everyone who wants to tell me if there is an LA Tudor mansion, you can tweet it at me at Yael Tygiel. That's YaelTygiel. I am also on Instagram. Yep, that's my name. Thank you, Maisie, for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.